What inspired you? Why Touching Hearts?
Great question. Again, my whole career, every move that I've made has been about growth, and it has been about both personal and professional growth and looking at those organizations and figuring how I can help those companies to grow, whether it's helping franchisees grow their revenue and their profitability, or whether it's growing the ultimate network of that franchise system. And so looking at growth. At the time, I wasn't really looking for a change, and that's why sometimes we're very blessed when people, come into our lives.
Well, good morning to all. We are super excited today to be joined by our CEO, Todd Treml. Todd, good morning.
Glenn, good morning. Thank you for having me today.
It's a distinct honor. So excited that you would join us on our Touching Hearts at Home podcast. So let's start from the beginning, if you don't mind. Todd, tell me, what was the first job that you had out of college?
Yeah. So the first job I got out of college was the job that I actually had in college. I was working at a very small sporting goods store called Played Against Sports. And I actually started there in one of the first two stores that existed as a store manager. And I did that and worked that job full time while I was in college, still completing my degree. I went on to complete the degree, kept the full-time job, and then that job continued on until it really began to evolve into what really is today, which is a franchise company. After a couple years after I had started, we decided to franchise the model and begin to offer franchises throughout the U.S. and Canada. And the rest of the story is pretty interesting, but that was my first job out of college.
That is utterly amazing. So if I heard you correctly, you started off as a store manager in college, finishing your degree and working in a business that you guys would ultimately franchise. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's correct. Right place, right time, landed on this opportunity. We ended up growing this brand to over 400 locations in a very short period of time. And ultimately, that was the springboard to build a company called Winmark Corporation, which today is 5 retail brands, about 1,300 locations, about $1.3 billion at retail.
Wow. Outstanding. Incredible growth. Tell me, Todd, I'm curious, at such a young age, are any of those experiences or lessons that you may have learned from that first job, if you will, that you utilize today in being a CEO?
Yes. I think about that all the time. And I think about persistence, because you had to have some persistence and foresight to stay into that business, that job, that company, to begin to see or realize that it could be something much greater. And oftentimes we don't see those things. We see a job in front of us, but we don't really see a future and a career. And so what I learned is I stayed with it. I was loyal. I worked hard, and we put in a lot of hours to create something almost from the ground up. And that served me very well over the years, because I've been involved in a lot of startups and their hard work. Our franchisees know this, because every one of them go into a business and start that business. It's not easy to do. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of energy, capital, and so forth. So I really take away persistence.
Yeah, that's, all the successful people that we have the opportunity to connect with, you see a common thread of their persistence and ability to get off the mat, if you will, and continue on the journey. Yeah, and I don't know too many people that are successful that aren't persistent. And so, well, that's so interesting. So you took that first job in college, right? Your career took off from an early stage, but help me fill in the blanks on from that moment to becoming the CEO of Touching Hearts and Home. Help fill in the blanks there on your journey and your experiences.
Sure. Very fortunate along the way as I continued to grow and learn and evolve into positions that I had great mentors. I mean, that would be something that I want to make sure we talk about today because it's really hard to get to next levels to learn to adapt without great mentors and great teachers. 20 plus years with Winmark Corporation as a director of the company, was able to help take the company public and was able to help build an organization, as I said earlier, over 20 years, 5 brands, 1,300 locations. When I left the organization, I wanted to do a couple things. I wanted to continue to grow my skills, my experience, my leadership abilities, and I wanted to start my own business. And so I started several different businesses, some with partners, also a consulting business that led me to a number of clients in the franchising space. One of them was a company called Snap Fitness, and they are a national health club chain, a 24/7 key card scan in health club chain. They hired me to come on board full time as their director of franchise development in the US. And so that was a wonderful opportunity for me because it allowed me to do something that I hadn't done in franchising, which was work on the franchise development side of the business, awarding franchises to prospects that are looking to get into business on their own. Rewarding experience, loved being in the health and wellness category, but left that organization for another growth opportunity with a company called United Franchise Group, which is a large franchisor. When I was there, 8 brands, about 2,000 locations in 50 countries, multiple categories of business, food, co-work space, sign business, business brokerage, and so forth. So I was an executive director overseeing development and operations for the brands. And again, a tremendously rewarding experience of being in a large franchisor and really learning systems and process and scale. Incredibly valuable. I decided to move on after several years at United Franchise Group. I joined a company in St. Paul, Minnesota called Proprietors Capital Holdings, a small private equity company that at the time had about 25 small businesses in their portfolio. I came into the company as president to run their franchise division. So anything that we had in the franchising space, we had 3 to 4 different companies that we were franchising or incubating to franchise. And some of them were startups. Some of them were area developments that we owned. Some were franchises that we owned, and some were traditional franchisors. So again, 6 years there, rewarding experience, really learned entrepreneurship there, really learned from the people there and the team members, really how to build business again and scale. That led me to Touching Hearts at Home. So I received a call from Ryan Lundstrom, one of the sons of the founder, and he gave me a call, asked if I'd be interested in having a discussion about being the CEO of the company. This was, probably a year ago, a little less than a year ago. And by August of 2024, I came on as CEO of Touching Hearts at Home. So it's been an incredible journey throughout, and very, very grateful and blessed to have been a part of so many great organizations and working with so many great people and franchisees.
That's incredible. We're certainly going to get to Touching Hearts at Home, but you mentioned something that I want to linger on a little bit, if you don't mind, and that's the word mentor. I'm curious to know from your college days, or even before, if you want to go, who are 2 to 3 mentors that have truly impacted your life? What did they give to you that you still hold on to today? And also, what are your thoughts on mentorship in general? Are you mentoring anyone? What are your thoughts on that? I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah, sure. Great question. So last one first, I do mentor. I meet with many young business owners. Many people reach out to me because they're interested in learning how to franchise their business. Sometimes it's younger people that are going into their first job. So I love the outreach that comes. I certainly seek it out as well. I love sharing anything that I can to help them in their career path. Mentors don't have to be just business related. They can certainly be personal mentors, spiritual mentors. I've had all of these things in the past as well. They're all important in the balance. A couple of mentors that really helped me, I think, drive my career forward and help me to ascend, if you will, in my career. One of them is Ray Titus, who is one of the most successful franchise or founders in franchising in general. Has been doing it for about 40 years with United Franchise Group, has built a school for franchising. This man is incredible. What I learned from him is leadership, how to build teams, how to be really productive. And the biggest thing that I learned from Ray was be accessible. What I mean by that is here's a CEO that has been around for 40 years building amazing organizations, 2,000 locations. They have double digit, business concepts right now, 10, 12 different businesses. And he's always available to talk to someone. And that is really an important thing that I take with me from a mentoring standpoint, and that I live my life by, is being accessible for my team and my franchisees. The second person, who actually was in my last company, Scott Everett, was the epitome of an entrepreneur. What I learned from him was how to do startup, how to think like a business owner, how to be a business owner. We in private equity did acquisitions and we looked at companies in a different way. I learned so much on the financial side of operating, running, and buying companies. And to this day, just a tremendous mentor with a ton of experience in franchising, but also just in business ownership itself.
That's amazing. It's very rare that we ever get to reach our full potential without someone helping us, holding us up, if you will, along the way. Uh, if we always talk about, I've heard folks say that, if you want to get there fast, go alone. But if you want to get there the right way and reach your destination and make a true impact, go with others. And so thank you for sharing that. So now let's dive into, you have such a rich career, all right? So we have to pick and choose where we go here, but I want to talk about what compelled you to take on the challenge of becoming the CEO of Touching Hearts at Home. What inspired you? Why now? Why Touching Hearts?
Great question. Again, my whole career, every move that I've made has been about growth. And it has been about both personal and professional growth, and looking at those organizations and figuring out how I can help those companies to grow, whether it's helping franchisees grow their revenue and their profitability, or whether it's growing the ultimate network of that franchise system. And so looking at growth. At the time, I wasn't really looking for a change. And that's why sometimes we're very blessed when people, come into our lives, as did Andrew and Brian Lundstrom. And so when they met with me and I considered what they were needing in their organization, which was leadership and someone that could help them take the business of Touching Hearts at Home to another level. They had done such an amazing job over the first 18 years. Their mother, Renee Peterson, starting this business actually 28, 29 years ago in the home care business. Now, this incredible hard work and passion that they put into this business has gotten us to 60 to 70 locations and offices throughout the United States. Now they needed the next level. They were searching for the next level, and I give them a ton of credit for seeing the vision of the company. For me personally, when I looked at the opportunity, there were a couple of things that stood out right away. Number one, and this is not in order, was industry. Clearly, home care is one of the hottest industries in the world today. Consecutive growth years ahead of us. This is going to be a growing industry for 25 plus years. And it's really, really important work. So when I looked at the industry and I looked at the type of work that's being done by incredibly dedicated and compassionate people, it's not hard to get behind that mission. So that was something that I looked at right away. Number two, I looked at where this particular business was at. And I looked at an opportunity to say, well, can this grow? And where are they at in the competitive matrix of the entire industry? And what I saw was huge white space in front of us. The fact that we have competitors that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 locations, we're sitting at 60 to 70, and we can do anything they can do. And so we have room to grow this network and grow this. The last thing, which is not the last thing on my list of priorities, was the franchise ownership and the franchisees and the business owners of this business. As I got to know them and take a look at them and what they were doing, I found an incredibly successful, dedicated group of franchisees, some of the best I've ever met in my entire life. And they, to this day now, have made my life much easier because they're so good at what they do. And now we're just continuing to support them in every facet possible. So great, high quality franchise and business owners, great industry, great opportunities for growth. And then for me personally, to kind of wrap this all up, Glenn, was at this stage of my career, I am looking to do purpose-driven work. I've been in 20 plus industries, nothing like this. Nothing compares to this, quite frankly. And I want to be in an industry where I can help people, make impact on people's lives, and get up every single morning and feel really proud of the work that we're putting in every single day. And so that was what really drove this home for me. And I'm just so fortunate that we found a fit.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, you often, I hear you say that term purpose driven. Um, where did that come from? At what point in your career did you say, hey, I can do this anywhere and make money, but I really want to make a true impact? When did that start to rise up within you uh and have that watershed moment, for lack of a better term?
I think it evolves over time. I think as young professionals in our career, we have, for me personally, I had different goals and objectives. It was to support my family, to have a good job, to continue to have upward mobility in my career, perhaps work with several different companies, learn, grow, um, and then be able to eventually begin to find my way to the things that I simply want to do. And I'm not out searching for a job anymore. I'm actually looking for career opportunities or business ownership opportunities. And that comes over time with experience and confidence. I would say probably in those years, 7, 8, 9 years ago, when I was with United Franchise Group and then moving into my last company prior to this, I really started to feel like when you've worn every hat in franchising and you've had success and you've built great teams and you can promote those great people to new companies or internally, which has happened in my case, and have successful franchise owners in those businesses, because that's ultimately the goal here in franchising. I really felt like I could select my path and be very particular about where I wanted to go. And touching hearts at home is a dream come true for me.
That's amazing. So we talked a lot about the past. If you don't mind, let's switch gears to the future just for a moment. Where do you see Touching Hearts at Home in the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years?
I think a lot of people or CEOs would like to sit here and say, and give you a number, because they think about network first. They think about how many locations are we going to have in the next 5 years? Although that is part of our strategy and certainly a priority of ours to have lots of locations, or at least get to as many locations as we can serve in each community to bring our important business to those communities. I don't think there's any doubt that we can get, our first goal is to get over 100 locations. And in 5 years, it's conceivable that we're into the hundreds of locations. But I think when I look at the business over the next 5 years, what I want to be able to look at that we have accomplished is an incredible, high quality, world-class support team for our franchisees. I want to be able to have, and we will have, the people and the systems and the resources for our franchisees and everything that they need to be successful and drive profitable revenue in their business. it starts with support, giving them all the tools. So I want to be able to look back at it, whatever it is. Is it marketing support, training support, operational support, technology support? I want to be able to have those systems in place. And we're growing that today to what it's going to look like in a year, 3 years, and 5 years. So that's incredibly important. So I think we will have numbers of locations. I also think what we're going to see up in the 5-year mark is much higher AUVs, average unit volumes of our locations. We want to see them grow. And then more importantly, we want to see our net incomes grow at the office level. We want all of our franchisees, obviously, to be profitable. We want them to be able to reach their goals, whatever their goal is. We want to help them reach that goal. So in 5 years, I want to be able to look back and say, yes, we've accomplished that. We've got our national brand built with hundreds of locations in markets that we're now serving, because this is a huge, massive industry and population that we're going to be serving, which is primarily the senior community and population. And so I look at those 3 things specifically again as where we see ourselves in the future.
Thing that our listeners may or may not know about you is that to this day, even with your schedule, you coach basketball. How did that start? Why do you feel it's still important and necessary uh, to give of yourself, um, and invest in, you know, uh, young high schoolers or middle schoolers? Tell me why and how do you carve out the time, and is it beneficial? Is it a deterrent? Very curious.
Yeah. So my other passion. And so, I've been a basketball player and a hooper my whole life. I played high school basketball, college basketball, and of course, I was a dad coach when my kids were growing up. I've got 4 boys; they're all older now, and so got into coaching at a long time ago at their young ages, all the way through the time when they stopped playing. And when they all graduated and moved on from either middle school or high school, I still wanted to keep coaching. I just felt like I could make such a positive impact on the lives of youth. Not only did I love the sport that I get to be a part of, but I get a chance to really impact youth, not just that year that I'm coaching them, but it shows up 5 years later and it shows up 10 years later. And that's really the blessing, if you will. So to this day, I am a coach. I primarily coach, 7th and 8th graders, travel A, we call it, highly competitive. It's extremely time consuming. It takes a lot of my weekends and evenings, and I wouldn't have it any other way. What I get back from coaching, not only the love of the game, but what I get back from coaching is how I can, again, make a difference in the lives of these kids. And how I know that is I get approached all the time in my community. Some young man will walk up to me and say, "Hey, coach, do you remember me?" And I'll have to take a look at them. And it's somebody that I might have coached 6 years ago, 7 years ago. And they have a smile on their face and they remember me. And we talk about the good times. And that's kind of the impact that I really want to make down the road. I want to make an impact on these young men. How do they act? How is behavior, discipline, respect? I'm helping them grow up to be really solid people in the community, and it's an absolute joy.
How do you is that a way that you recharge? Is it even fair to say that that allows you to recharge because you're still giving of yourself? Is it a recharge mechanism for you?
It is, I believe, the giver's game, and this is an area that I can give. I do other things, obviously, in my free time, but the coaching side of it is definitely something that energizes me. I can't wait to do it again next year. And it's a really important part of my life being in the community and helping youth. So I'm going to do that for as long as I can. But I also recharge a lot of other ways. I think it's really important, whether you're a CEO of a company or whether you're a business owner or anybody in the workplace today, it's important to have some balance and recharge. But balance in a way that is both, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. And all those things are important to balance out. And I work on all those things all the time.
Yes, those are not just words. I know he does. Todd, lastly, if you let's assume that someone that may be interested in Touching Hearts and Home franchise was watching this podcast, what is something that you would share to them as the CEO of this company? I want to just give you the platform to hear directly from you. What are you excited about our brand? Uh, what do we have to offer? Just anything that you'd like to share directly to a potential candidate.
Absolutely. There's a lot of options. There's about 4,000 franchise brands in what we call the franchising model throughout the United States. And so there's a lot of options. If somebody has interest in the home care space, and more than just interest, they can see themselves having a real passion for this type of work, this meaningful, important work. And we begin to have a discussion. There are some real advantages to why Touching Hearts at Home is a really good choice for people, and why I would select it if I was looking at it. Number one, it goes without saying that you're entering an industry that is absolutely growing and will continue to grow for the next 20 to 25 years. I don't know any other industry that we can say that in. This one we can because the statistics back it up. Number two, and again, not in any order. Number two, you certainly have a really attractive startup investment. So there's a low entry to the financial side of it to get into it, which is really appealing and allows you to come in and really put your focus on this business and get you off to a really good start. So the investment is very attractive compared to a lot of other franchise businesses. The support that we provide our franchisees, not only is it excellent today, it's going to continue to get excellent, and we're gonna have what we call sustained excellence over time, and that's what we're working towards. And I believe that whether it's marketing or training or operations, development, technology, we have the systems and the people in place to be there every step of the way and support that franchisee in their growth, in their journey. From the time they start in training, for as long as they're in this business with us, we're going to be there to support them, to help them grow a really healthy business and reach their goals. Last thing is, and it's probably the most important thing, is look at the evidence, look at our numbers, and then talk to our franchisees. Our franchisees are the cornerstone of this brand. They are the ones that have made it what it is today. They are successful, passionate, dedicated individuals that will help each other at any point in time. So when you join a network like this, you aren't just getting support from our franchise home office, but you have dozens and dozens and dozens of franchise owners that are there to support you in your journey as well. And it's just an impressive network of people, some of the best people in the world. So I think it would be a great choice for somebody as a prospect coming in, looking at, what's the best option for me to own a business. I can get passionate behind senior care. They've got all the systems in place. They've got really successful franchisees that are also willing to share peer to peer. Yeah, let's go. This is a good fit.
Let's go. I mean, you got me excited and I'm just listening. So, well, Todd Treml, thank you on behalf of all of us at Touching Hearts at Home for taking some time to be on our podcast, Touching Hearts at Home podcast. It's a place where we touch your heart by sharing ours. Okay. That's what we're here for. We have so many exciting guests that are coming up. But today I want to thank Todd Treml from Touching Hearts at Home for joining us. My name is Glenn Langan, and we're signing out Touching Hearts at Home.